I was so excited when I knew that we were going to do a show on Epic, because I remember when I bought my Roosevelt shirt, I was like, the one I wanted, they didn't have, which was like a Marvel zombie one, but then they sold out of it. And I was like, oh, but there's Classic Monsters. I was like, I'm going to get the Classic Monsters one because of Dark Universe is going to be at Epic Universe. So I'm like, this is perfect. And then I realized when we said we're going to tape the show all about Epic Universe, I was like, I get to break out my Roosevelt Classic Monster. Oh, God, I just wore it last week.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. The only reason I wanted to do this show to begin with is that I got an ET shirt for Christmas, and it has nothing to do with Epic Universe, but I was like, hey, it's Universal. I gotta wear it. So, Roosevelt's, please sponsor us already. We wear these shirts like crazy. I mean,
Derek can't wear the same shirt 1 year in a row. So.
No, he needs 3.
Not from one show to the other.
I was about to say, not even from one show in a row.
Exactly.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show. I'm your host, Paul Krieger, joined as always by my lovely wife, Amy Krieger.
Hello.
We've got John Sakari, aka Big Fat Panda, in the house.
Welcome home.
The one, the only, Derek DeBoer.
Who is Derek DeBoer? Hello?
What? Who?
You don't know what the introduction?
The one and only.
No, it's always Senior Sales Manager. DVC Show Market.
But then you yell at me for calling you old all the time.
Wait. Since we're on this topic really quick and you have David, oh my gosh, I don't know why I call him that. Since you have Derek
Jeff's here too.
There's Jeff.
I don't know what's happening.
Did you have Derek on the screen? I do want to say this. Derek is a real boy. He is not AI. He is not a robot. He is really there. And he can really help you buy your DVC resale contract. You just have to pick his name from the drop-down box.
That is very
you
true.
To say this?
No.
What is it? Where is this coming from?
It's so funny seeing the comments on DVC Fan where people are like, I got to work with Derek. I can't believe it. It's like they think he doesn't exist except over here.
It's a real person. We have lots of incredible agents. We have lots of fantastic former Disney Vacation Club agents, but I am a real person. So if anybody out there says, hey, I think I have some questions, I'll reach out to Derek. I have an email. I have a phone number. You can talk to me live on the phone. You can set up a virtual appointment, and I'm more than happy to help you.
That still doesn't mean he's real, though, Amy. I've called him once, and his wife said he was charging. And I don't know.
I don't know what is happening. I'm going to leave and come back for a different show.
In case you were wondering, we are sponsored by the world of DVC, DVC Resale Market, nice segue, where you can buy or sell a Disney Vacation Club contract from real boys like Derek. Monera Financial, where my lovely wife Amy Krieger can help you finance a DVC resale contract purchase. No one ever wants to work with me, but if you ever want to rent out your points, get some cash in your pocket, that's what I do. DVC rental store, or you can rent out different members' points and save a bunch of money on a Disney vacation. So there you go.
Don't say that, Paul, because Amy, every day someone says to me, oh my God, I can't believe it. I got Amy's helping me with my loan. Or it was so cool. Paul answered questions about renting Disney Vacation Club points. So don't downplay yourself.
That was
my new boss. My new boss asked me today if he's like, I heard you on a Disney YouTube thing. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I see all the time, like you can rent these rooms through a rental store, a points. I'm like, it's actually what we do. I can hook you up. He says, that just seems like a scam. I'm like, I promise you it's not. And then I gave him your number. So
that was that random call I got earlier.
Probably.
Yeah. He was screening you. He was asking all kinds of questions about you.
I think renting DVC points is the one thing that could be too good to be true and actually is. Because I remember the first time, too, that I did that, years and years ago before I bought. I thought this is impossible, and it was fine.
It is funny when we write out frequently asked questions. That is top of the list. Is this a scam? Number one, first and foremost question that is always asked. And I always say, go to Better Business Bureau. Look us up. Yes, we are based in Indiana. That is kind of the weird part that a lot of people, kind of are like, what, Florida, Indiana? Yeah, everything in the timeshare universe is based in Indiana, basically. That's what I've come to learn over the years, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's legit. You can save up to 65% off of your Disney vacation and then take that money and spend it on lightning lanes. So... or spend it somewhere else, which is really the topic of this week's show, because the thing that I think has taken over the news recently, just because there's a lot of soft openings going on right now, is Universal's Epic Universe, which is going to open later this year. I believe it's May 23rd. Do I have that date? 22nd. May 22nd is the grand opening date. But there are soft openings, team member openings going on right now, so it's kind of in the buzz. And really a question that I think a lot of people have been asking is, what kind of impact is this going to have on Disney World? What kind of impact maybe is this going to have on Disney Vacation Club members? So that's really kind of the thought process that I wanted to go through in our show today. And before we get started, I did want to kick it over to Panda, because Panda, you recently went to Universal and had an epic experience, not an epic universe, but got to experience some fun stuff, right?
Yeah, listen, I've been a big guy my whole life. I'm always used to, can I fit on this ride? Can I not fit on this ride? And with Universal, it's hit and miss. For the first time, I lost enough that I was able to fit on anything I wanted at Universal. Aww. And it was kind of like being, for lack of a better term, a kid in a candy shop. I was like, all of a sudden, imagine being there, and Forbidden Journey is now a brand new attraction. So I'm all excited, and nobody else is. But I am. And as I'm sitting on it, the team members there knew, because I'm freaking out, screaming. I'm like, I lost 60 pounds. I'm going on the ride. And they're like, dude, do you want to go again and again? And I'm like, yeah. So they were great on that. And then they gave me free passes to go jump onto Hagrid's without waiting. And I was like, wow, these people really cared. And one guy came up to me, and I don't have his name. And he goes, dude, from a team member. And he goes, I'm having my own weight loss journey, and I just wanted to congratulate you. I felt the love that I expect from Disney was at Universal that day for sure. Every team member was just amazing that I came in contact with. And of course, I had a great time. And now I'm so looking forward to Dark Universe. Thank you.
You are looking amazing. And we were talking about that before the show started. But Panda, you have been the biggest Disney fan for so long, and yet I feel like more recently, like you've seen the cracks in the armor. You've kind of seen the little kinks here and there. So talk a little bit more about just kind of that experience of what you feel Universal is doing a little bit different than Disney right now, and why they might have a little bit of that edge.
I mean, I always liked Universal, but I'm definitely more of a Disney fanatic, and I'm not putting that, I'm not hanging that up. I'm not saying I'm not a Disney fanatic, but I do see things they could do differently. And there's things that I see Universal doing better. I think Universal now they're just finding IPs that I like the Dark Universe, and they're staying true to things. They're not changing it up so much. They're not giving me something that took place in Uganda and putting it in Norway just to mess with me. They're keeping it real. And I like that because I'm nostalgic. I like the way it is in the movie for the most part. Anyway, when I see what they're doing, I see their animatronics coming to Disney standards, I'm getting excited. I like everything that I'm seeing from them.
Yeah.
I definitely am going to visit there more in the future than I would probably have thought of.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing that's sneaking up on us. We actually let our Universal annual pass expire, but I feel like once Epic opens, we're now closer to Universal. I feel like we're going to start to gravitate there a little bit more.
I was going to elaborate that you also feel more appreciated at Universal. I'm sure Jeff agrees with this. When you walk in with your premier pass at 4 o'clock and you valet park for free and then get express pass for free on your annual, you just feel like, oh, they appreciate my annual pass. You don't get that any more appreciation from Disney. That's gone right now. Hopefully it comes back, and that's when we go through predictions. I do have a prediction that I think Disney's going to step up eventually.
Okay, that is one thing. We've never done the Premier Pass at Universal. I would like to have a Premier Pass. I'd like to consider it because, if we were going, we're either going to go in the evenings anyway, you know, or after work, and having that Express Pass after 4, I think that's...
And the valet. is great.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, you get the park in Premier or Preferred, and yeah.
Well, and to your point, Amy, we're all kind of in the same boat. We all have regular jobs. This isn't our real job. And we find ourselves in the parks in the evenings, I think, more than, the majority of our population. But it's not just about the Express Pass, although that is really, really nice. City Walk in and of itself at nighttime, there's a lot to do. There's some decent restaurants there. There's always live music. Like, it's just a really nice place to just pop up, grab some dinner, go hop on Velocicoaster, and call it a day. Like, with no wait times. It is something that Disney is really, really missing out on. And I don't know how they could do it, but it's something that you definitely feel. It's like that scene in Wayne's World when they had backstage passes to Alice Cooper. You're flashing it at everybody and getting all the kind of special treatment and all those kinds of things. It's just, it does make you feel special.
So let's talk a little bit about Epic Universe real quick. For those of you that are kind of those diehard Disney people that watch us for Disney Vacation Club content, I apologize in advance. We're going to talk about Universal today, but I think it's a relevant topic because of how it relates to what maybe Disney is going to be doing over the next 5-10 years. So Epic Universe is Universal's newest theme park. It is the first theme park to come to the Orlando area, I want to say, since Animal Kingdom opened. I think that's correct. And it is set to open on May 22nd, 2025. It'll be Universal's third theme park down here in Florida if you don't count Volcano Bay, which you could go 50-50 on that. Disney does not count water parks as amusement parks, but I will say Volcano Bay is like an amusement park. Like, it is probably the best water park that I have ever experienced. It'll be the largest single park expansion in Orlando history. So it is a brand new park. It's actually located a few miles down the road from Universal. There will be shuttles and stuff that connect and can transport you from Universal Islands at Adventure area over to Epic and vice versa. They're building new roads, all of that kind of stuff. So this is a huge deal for Central Florida because of the thought of what it's going to do to tourism down here. It's going to bring a huge number of people here. Derek, of all of us here, you are going to be the one that I think gets to maybe try this thing first, right?
Yes. Knock on wood. I may have a chance to experience Epic Universe before it opens to the general public. I may be able to. I have some very, very good friends that have already experienced the park. They've actually already experienced it twice. So I don't know if you want to get into it now or going to go section by section, but I can tell you in a nutshell, let me read them because I asked them. I said, we're going to be doing on a DVC show, we're going to be talking about Epic. So I said, is there like a quote you would like me to say? I said, it's not going to be attributed to your name or anything else, but you've now experienced this park, twice. They've done almost everything that they possibly could. And I want to read their quote that they shared with me and said, yes, you could read this quote. This is literally them being 100% honest. They said, from the moment you walk into Celestial Park, which is again at the front of the park, which we'll talk about, and through each and every portal, you are transported to a whole new universe that will literally blow your mind. Epic truly is, wait for it, epic. So that is what they said. And again, I can talk a little bit more about some of the individual attractions and stuff, but they sent me a meme, and maybe you could add this, Paul, at some point, maybe before the show airs. But they sent me a meme when they were there after their first day. Because again, this was a team member special preview. They told everyone, no joke, they're like, if we catch you taking pictures with your phone, you will be promoted to permanent guest. So wow. There's no photos, no pictures. But when they got back to their car, they sent me a picture, which was kind of funny. And it was basically, if I was Disney, I'd be pretty worried. Meaning they said this place was themed out. The food was incredible. The rides were blown away by the rides, from thrill rides to everything down to the, How to Tame Your Dragon Land for the families. They said it was awesome. They're just unbelievable, which my take on it, and I've always said this about Universal, do I feel different when I'm at Universal? Yeah, I do, because I think I don't have that sense of, oh my God, I'm in a magical place. I'm so immersed. It's all about these rides are awesome. But I could go to a Disney park and not ride any ride and feel relaxed and immersed. So that to me has always been a difference. But what I love about Universal, and Jeff has talked about this too in the past, is that, a lot of, families with kids that are, teenagers, they're not getting their thrills going on, Snow White's, mine train ride. They're going, I want to go on Velocicoaster. Whereas I feel Universal has rides that they don't care if they make you cry in fear. Whereas Disney has rides that are like, aren't they great? They're themed. It's a little bit scary, so get ready. That's the difference to me, is Universal goes all out and says, we know who we're marketing to. So if you want thrill rides, this is where you have to be. And the couple of thrill rides that they have there, my friend said that they are incredible, like unbelievable. So,
well, and I'd say more than a couple, because there seems to be there's so many new coasters that's coming to this area. So let's kind of go through the park real quick. Just touch on each of the lands, and then I want to go around the room and get everyone's thoughts. Like, what are you most excited for? And then back to Derek to kind of say, what his friends really enjoyed when they were there. Derek, you already mentioned Celestial Park. So that is kind of this cosmic themed hub that you walk into when you actually enter Epic Universe. This is going to be where there's a decent number of restaurants, retail. There's a lot of relaxing green spaces. There's a couple different rides in this area, including Starfall Racers with a signature dueling coaster, I believe. Celestial Park is just kind of this perfect entrance into the area.
The fountain. Disney is getting rid of fountains, and look what they are giving us with Epic. That is an epic fountain. I'm excited about a fountain.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true.
But the Muppets fountain is going away. The Polynesian fountain went away. The Epcot fountain. I'm sure there's more. I don't understand why Disney's against water features now.
But we got Moana. We got Moana.
Did they open the water feature in the Poly Tower yet?
No, I don't think that.
I think that got canceled.
I don't think that got canceled.
They ran out of water because Epic used it.
I'm sure a fountain got canceled. Disney's not doing fountains anymore. Epic is giving us epic fountains.
Yeah, there is an epic fountain right in front of what is also the Helios Grand Hotel, which, let's just say, this is the hotel of hotels if you're coming to Orlando. If you want a hotel that overlooks a theme park, like a theme park view, looking down into this entire park, absolutely amazing. Like, I think that's going to be the experience. Like, I don't know. I'm weird because I'm into Disney Vacation Club, but I'm more excited about the hotel and just the experience there of overlooking the park, watching the fountain. To Panda's point, they're going to have fireworks. They've been doing a lot of test shows for fireworks, so I assume it's going to be fountain and fireworks and all the feels. And I actually saw Cinesational, I believe it was called, which was what they did over at Universal Studios this past summer. And there's just so much, I don't want to use this word too much, but so much epic music that goes along with the Universal properties. You've got E.T., you've got Harry Potter, you've got Jaws, all of these amazing John Williams scores. Yeah. Just so much music that you relate to, and it's epic. And so to pair that with all of these other features, I think they're knocking it out of the park with that. So Celestial Park, I'm making up words. Celestial Park is kind of your entrance into Epic Universe. And from there, you head off through 4 different portals into different worlds and different lands. First up is Super Nintendo World. So we've heard about this before because there is one out in California and out at Universal's International Park as well. But this is where you're going to see the Mario Kart attraction, the Donkey Kong Mine Kart Madness, and Yoshi's Adventure. You can't see him, he's up behind my head, but there's a Yoshi back there. Yoshi's my man, so you can just catch me on that ride all day, every day. I'm really excited for Super Nintendo World. You've got How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, so anyone that's familiar with the How to Train Your Dragon movies is going to love this. There's a family-friendly coaster there. There's Viking-themed rides, play areas. There's some meet and greets with the various dragons. We've seen some, some kind of aerial photos of them doing this, and it looks absolutely amazing. They're taking technology to a new level with some of these animatronics that they're doing for these dragons. Dark Universe, the Universal Monster Themes land where Derek needs a new shirt from. There's going to be a Frankenstein-inspired dark ride. There's a kind of a gothic village. There's all kinds of stuff that's going into that land. I'm just kind of breezing through these real quick. And then there's the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. This is where you're going to have a brand new state-of-the-art Harry Potter ride. There's going to be so much to do there as well. I have not done justice to explaining it all, but did want to go around the room real quick and just get an idea of what you're most excited around. Jeff, I'll kick it off with you.
Yeah, so my excitement is twofold. Anybody that has ever been to my house, this is my Disney room, my Disney behind me, but my loft is all video game themed, and it's all Super Mario Brothers. Mario is my favorite video game series of all time. I still own every single game I've ever owned. They're all hooked up to my TV. We're going to get Paul over here one night, and we're going to have some Mario Kart competitions. I'm sure of it. But I'm really excited for this land. And I love that it's similar but different than the one in Universal, one in Universal Hollywood. They don't have the Donkey Kong aspect out there. Theirs is significantly smaller than Epic Universe would be. Donkey Kong was that's one of my favorite video games of all time on the Super Nintendo. And the way they've designed this attraction where it looks like it jumps the track just like in the game. Can't tell you how excited I am for that coaster. And then Dark Monsters. And it's not just the ride, although the animatronics on that Frankenstein look insane.
Yeah.
The whole land, down to the vampire themed steakhouse, which they could have phoned this in and made it cheesy. They could have gone a lot of different ways with the design, but they aren't afraid of the scary, as we know from Halloween Horror Nights. And I love that this is going to be a permanent kind of place to go see what started Universal Studios, the film studio, to begin with back in the 20s. So those two lands, Harry Potter, fine, whatever. I'm going to get hate for this, but I feel like Harry Potter's kind of jumped the shark. Those movies are 20 years ago. Like, I'm ready for something new. And these two lands, I feel like, really knock it out of the park for me.
Amy Krieger might fight you on that one because she was saying to me just yesterday that she was going to refuse to watch the new Harry Potter series on HBO for at least 5 years because she's not done with the original Harry Potter.
It's too new. Like, it's too soon to be doing new Harry Potter.
So
Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter.
Agree.
You cannot take that away from me, even though a bunch of them are no longer alive.
Daniel
sadly.
Radcliffe might be 30 now.
Doesn't matter. He's Harry Potter.
What are you most excited for Epic
So
Universe?
obviously, I'm very excited about the Ministry of Magic. So we have a third Harry Potter piece to the world of Universal, and it just looks so detailed and so cool. But I'm not really a classic monsters person. I knew it was gonna happen. That windmill is so cool.
Surpassed expectations.
I cannot wait to see it on fire. I'm so excited. And then just like Jeff, I grew up with Super Mario, playing with my brother. We had the regular Nintendo, we had, the original, we had the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64. I stopped after that because I'm not good at video games anymore, but I loved Mario. I loved Yoshi. Paul and I actually spent an entire winter in our first apartment playing when the Super Mario came out on Wii, right? It was like the original Wii one where you could play together. Oh, remember that?
Yes, Amy would typically be Toad, and I would be Mario, and I would spend half the game just jumping.
He always
on
jumped
her
on my head. It was stressful.
Well, it was part of the game where I did have to jump on your head to get to a certain.
Leave that girl alone.
But okay, so
and just the fact that and obviously we all love Disney, but since I've been a Disney fan, we've gotten one new ride, and then everyone flocks to that new ride, and then we've got one new land maybe, and everyone flocks to that new land. It's got one or two rides, but we're getting an entire new park with multiple rides, multiple restaurants, multiple places to go. Like I'm not going to know what to do with myself when I enter an entire new park. There's going to be so much to see.
She's just going to pass out. Panda, I might know. I feel like I might know the answer to this, but what are you excited about?
It's definitely Dark Universe. I mean, when I look at first of all, I just got on Forbidden Journey, so I now know the system. They say it's, like on steroids for Monsters Unleashed or Unchained. I forgot which one it is. But that ride with the Frankenstein, the vampire, and how these animatronics are like coming at you. But the Slaughtered Lamb restaurant, like, I think, is that the steakhouse, Jeff? I think
so, yeah.
Somebody comes in at a certain point and yells that there's werewolves outside, and if you want to go outside, the windmill. I thought, all right, what kind of cheap effect are they gonna project onto this windmill so it looks like it's on fire? When I saw a video of it, it not only is it actual fire, but it looks legit, like from the movie. I'm thrilled with that. I'm thrilled with I like that there's life in the land to make it feel living and alive, and where things going on outside, inside, rides. I can't wait. There's also talk already because how people miss Jaws. Everybody misses Jaws. Jeff keeps going away.
I don't know. It's weird.
Creature of the Black Lagoon, possible rumored expansion. Could you imagine a boat ride like Jaws, but the creature from the Black Lagoon? Please.
I read somewhere that the actual land has a story that kind of intertwines all of the elements with it, and you've got to like talk to the different people, to the different characters that are walking around. Even to your point, Panda, in the restaurant, like that kind of relates back to things that are happening on the ride or things that are happening throughout the rest of it. There's nothing that has done that immersion, I feel, for Disney for many, many years. The biggest attempt that they ever did at that was Galaxy's Edge, but even that missed some marks because you had budget cuts, you had things that kind of pulled back from that. And from everything that we've heard with Universal, I'm sure there's a budget, but there was no budget with this park. Yeah. They basically said, go all out. We want the full experience. And this is where I think Disney's a little bit short-sighted, is that Disney lost a lot of Imagineers, or I would say they purposefully lost a lot of Imagineers. And guess where they ended up? They trained all of these amazing minds. They trained all these amazing cast members to do these types of things. These people have ended up at Universal, and Universal's like, let's do it. Let's do what you were trained to do. Let's max out everything, every dream that you had. We're going to put it into this park. And I think that's what's so incredible about it.
And and that's interesting that you bring that point up, because for me, one point that I wanted to make, that my friends who had now been there twice said that, when I talked about immersion, like, you're at Disney and you're immersed because you can't see the quote unquote outside world, or you can't see basically other lands when you're in one land. And when you go to, say, Universal Florida, right? When you're there in the park, you could be in Harry Potter land, you walk outside, you look across the lake, and there's Simpsons land, right? So it's all just kind of big buildings and big warehouses kind of built around. So there's no real immersion. They said, Derek, one of the coolest things about this, they said one of the coolest things about Epic is they knew that. So they wanted to immerse you, because when you're in, for example, Dark Universe, you can't see any other land. So they went out of their way that when you're in these lands, you don't see things from the other land. So when you're in, for example, and that's the one I'm most excited about, is Dark Universe. My God, they have a bar called the Burning Blade Tavern with that windmill gets set on fire, and they saw it, and they're like, it's real fire. It's not fake. And they said, they've got really good beer and drinks. They said the bars at Epic, they said, are awesome. They said the food is really great. The drinks are great. But I think it's important that anybody out there, like me, that's what I'm most excited about, is because I love that feeling of being 100% immersed. And for me, that sometimes lacks at Universal. They said take any concern you had and get rid of it. Because when you're in these different lands, you are there up until the moment you walk out of that portal, and then you walk into a different one. But once you cross through into those portals, they're like, it's unbelievable. So yeah, I'm so pumped. So pumped.
I feel like this show is going to get us to renew our annual pass and go buy a
You have to. You have to.
You have to by the end of it. Speaking of tickets, I think that's the next obvious step for us. If you're listening to this show and you're like, well, how do I go there? So tickets to Epic are kind of the interesting part right now because it is a little bit of controlling the madness, I think, is what Universal is really doing. So if you are looking to just go to Universal and get tickets or go to Universal and do a vacation package. Right now, what they are offering is a minimum of a 3-day ticket. So you've got to purchase a 3-day ticket. 2 of those days, you can bounce between Universal Studios and Island of Adventure. And only 1 of those days will you be able to actually go into Epic Universe. It's funny how the timing of things work out. Literally, this is the next day after we recorded this episode of the DVC show, and single-day tickets to Epic Universe are now available. They went on sale earlier this morning, and actually, Amy and I jumped on, and we booked early June, so I think it's June 3rd. We will actually be there to experience Epic Universe. We're super excited, but wanted to add this little disclaimer in there because I know I had mentioned in the original video that single-day tickets were not on sale. They are now on sale. The only thing that we have left to learn about is what they are going to do with Express Pass. We still don't know exactly what that's going to look like at opening of Epic Universe, or if it's going to initially be offered or maybe be offered at a later date. But wanted to just add this in there so that you had all of the information that you would need so that you can plan your Epic Universe or your Universal vacation. So it is limiting capacity. It's probably kind of like scaling up to really ramp up this park as it starts to open, make sure all the kinks are worked out. I think that's really a key part of this. If you're an annual pass holder, things are a little bit different. So you did have the option to buy single-day tickets to Epic Universe. I think most of those have sold out in some capacity, at least for kind of the early, grand opening time frame. But I did go back and look at the numbers on those to do a little bit of a quick comparison to Disney. So the highest price that I could see for one of those annual pass holder single day tickets was $173. Jeff, I don't know if what you maybe paid for that.
Mine for end of July, which I'm so mad that I can't go until then, but it was $156 with my annual pass.
That's what I paid for opening day, believe it or not, $156. Yeah. I know. Don't even tell me. I know I'm going to regret it, but I am going opening day.
No, you're not. I don't think you'll regret it.
Hey, if all you do is sit on a bench in Celestial Park or just sit in dark,
a fountain.
That's the video I want you to make, Panda, for opening day. It's just 7 hours of the fountain. No one else will have that content. I promise you.
Do you know what I think is going to be the standout star? I think the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk. Do you see the show they got going on there? It looks insane and different terrain levels. I think that's going to become people's favorite, and they're not going to think that it's going to be their favorite.
My friends that went, they said, Derek, we've never seen those movies. We've never seen How to Train Your, lizard or dragon, whatever it is. They said, we've never seen them. But they're like, that land was probably one of our favorites. They said it looks awesome. And the theming is off the chart. They're like, the music is great. There's a show, like a live action show that I think it's the same one that they have overseas as well, but where a dragon like flies through the actual show. They said the show is great. The little roller coasters are super cute. There's like a boat ride that's like an interactive water ride where people are squirting and all this stuff. They're like, that land is really, really themed well. And they said for people that want thrill rides, they said 2 things. The Monsters Unleashed or Monsters Unchained, I can't remember which one it is. The one with Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, all that. They said, hands down, one of the best rides anywhere on the planet. Not the best Universal ride. They said one of the best rides on the whole entire planet. They said the queue to get through felt like a Hornite's house, just walking through it to just get on the ride. And then they're like, the amount of crying children that will be found after this ride is done will be monumental. They're like, because your cart shifts up and it shifts down, and some of these animatronics are like 10 feet tall, and it looks like they're coming down from the ceiling and attacking you. everything else. They're like, that ride is great. And people that want to do roller coasters, Celestial Racers or Stardust Racers or
Starfall
I love
Racers.
how many names we're giving these rides in this show. It's just shows you we're Disney experts.
But they
not
said
Universal.
that one for folks that like, say Velocicoaster, for folks that like, the theme park, the Hulk rides, all that. They're like, this is on par, if not better than Velocicoaster, which for folks that do coasters, you can come at me. That is probably the best ride, the best roller coaster, probably in the whole entire country. They said what makes this great, it's got a lot of the same thrills, but you're doing almost all of it right next to another car. So you're doing it together.
Yeah.
So these feelings kind of go all the way around. They're like, that's the perfect ride. So yeah,
when you watch videos, Derek, it looks like somebody high-fiving from one coaster could actually touch the other person. I know they probably can't, but it looks that way.
Yeah, it looks so good. I can't wait.
Getting back to tickets real quick. So $173 was the highest single day ticket I've seen so far for Epic Universe. I did do a quick comparison over to Disney. Magic Kingdom is always the most expensive park to go to. $199 is the highest single day price. That is essentially around the Christmas holiday for 2025, but $199 to get into Magic Kingdom. And my question here is essentially, do you think this is going to pull some people away from Disney? The price point is a little bit lower. I imagine it might stay right there just to be a little bit appeasing. But do you think we're going to see this actually pull some guests away from Disney?
So I think we're going to see a little bit of both. I think we're going to see, part of Disney and what their expectations are is Epic is going to actually bring people to Orlando, to the area for the theme parks. Yes, they're going to go to Epic, but then why come all the way to Orlando and not go to Disney World? So I think that's a lot of what they're banking on, and I do think that will happen. But for the we're not normal. For the Disney diehards, the people like us who own DVC and go to Disney or who come down to Disney, multiple times a year, they are going to start losing some of those people's time, I think, to Epic Universe. We're going to have DVC members that stay on Disney property with their DVC membership, but probably go over and, spend some time at Universal, especially with the ticket structure. If they're not annual pass holders, they might be doing the 3-ticket thing just to be able to go,
try Universal.
Just try Universal. We want to try Epic. Let's use our DVC so we don't have to pay for our hotel. Let's use, let's, instead of buying Disney tickets, let's do Universal. I think we're going to start seeing some of that and seeing some of these people who normally come down and go to only Disney transition into either doing both or spending more time at Universal. So I do think that they're going to start to see that shift, but they're also going to get some people, who maybe don't go to Disney all the time, who come for Epic and then also go to Disney.
Yeah, you and I did that before we ever even moved down here. We took a trip that we were coming down here for as Disney Vacation Club members, and we were like, hey, there's nothing really new going on over at Disney right now. Why don't we go for the first day or two and try out Universal?
But we took our moms on that trip to Universal too for a day.
Yeah. So, we've always kind of bounced back and forth. And I think that is kind of going to be what a lot of Disney Vacation Club people do is to try Universal. And they've done all the Disney stuff.
I just think, Paul, we all kind of talked about it earlier. I just don't think that you can downplay the magnitude of this park opening, because it's not just a new land. It's not, say, Universal, changing something into, a Harry Potter land for the first time and blah, blah, blah. This is, like you said, a whole new park. And the fact that a whole new park in the United States of America, I can't remember other than, like you said, Animal Kingdom. And the fact that it's not just a whole new park. That's why I think this is just so epic. But I'm saying that's what makes it so big is it's built on franchises, for the most part, that people already love. So it's not like, hey, there's a new park. It's called Holy Smoke Mountain, and it's got really cool rides. And it's got this or this.
It's like 5 new parks.
Yeah, it's literally 5 new park. So you have people that go, they already love these franchises. They love How to Train Your Dragon. They love the classic monsters. God knows they love, Harry Potter, and they love Nintendo. So you put all of these, into one park based on obviously an incredibly well-run company that knows how to do theme parks extremely well, that I just don't think that you can downplay the magnitude and the excitement that I think when, these first reports, the official, reports come out, I think people are going to be booking trips like crazy when, Mr. Morrow freaks out and, sits with Panda and stares at the fountain for 7 hours. That's going to get like 1 million views. And so I think all these vloggers, when they get out there and show everybody how immersive and what a big deal this is, I just can't imagine that families that love rides and love these franchises aren't going to say, hey, you know what? I know we're going to Disney for a week, but maybe instead of going to Disney Springs, should we, get an Uber and go over to check out Epic Universe? So I think it's a great thing all around, because I think at the end of the day, it helps Disney, who we all love, obviously more than anything in the world. They're going to look to say, okay, have you seen the stuff over at Epic? So when we're working on, Villains Land, when we're working on cars, that we really got to up our A game. So I think in the end, everybody benefits. Everybody benefits.
Can I expand on that a little, please? Mm-hmm. I think short term, Disney's not going to tell you that they're hurting at all, but they're definitely going to lose some market share, and they're going to, their prices are going to have to change a little bit, because they're going to cry a little bit. But I think long term, Disney, those cuts that you were talking about, Paul, where everything's budget cut and everything, it's not going to happen as much anymore. I think Villains Land is going to be built a little differently because of Epic Universe. I think it's going to be on par with these crazy, themed environments that are really pushing the envelope. I don't think they can just say, oh, let's put a little carousel over here like they're doing in some spots. They're going to have to up it. And I think fast forward 5 years from now, maybe 10, Disney comes back with something to blow us away. So I think in the long term, it's better for all of us.
Yeah, I want to come back to that real quick in a minute, just kind of talking about.
Poor Jeff.
I know
I've been trying to talk for like a half hour.
I'm sorry,
to Jeff. That's why I'm going to come back to that. I know Jeff wanted to chime in on just kind of the initial impact that we're going to see from Epic.
Yeah. So my thing is this: everything that these guys have said, right? But I don't agree, because Disney, especially the way the current management handles things right now, they're all about the bottom line. They're all about what's profitable. Well, they're going to have two things working against them. Yeah, they want to build these big, magnificent things, but nobody for the last 10 years has really wanted to pull the trigger on any massive expansion of the parks. It's been retheming. It's let's make this ride that we already have updated, which is great, but it's nothing new. The biggest new attraction that we got was Guardians. Everything else has been a redo. So they're going to say, well, we need to do all these things to compete. But then if they're starting to lose money because people are going up the road, they're not going to have the money that they want to in order to fulfill those promises. And that has happened for the last 20 years at Disney. And if you want to disagree with me, look at California Adventure. Which is the last big attraction or the biggest park to open in the United States, was clear back in 2001. And when they opened it, it was a resounding thud. They've basically replaced every single thing or added something new to that park to try and bring it up to quote unquote Disney quality. You look at Epic Universe and you can tell former Imagineers were involved because they did it the old way. They got people excited like they used to do at Disney Blue Sky. There's this giant model preview center. Disney used to do that. You could go into One Man's Dream or the Blue Sky at California Adventure and look at the lands that they were building. These are the models. This is what's coming next. Here's the video. You could tell that Imagineers were involved in this process. Number two, yeah, Disney's going to build some great things. We've got monsters coming. We've got cars coming. Villains Land, 5-6 years. We don't know how long these things are going to take to build. And Epic has that much time to steal the hearts of these fans, because I think the soonest thing that's going to open is Zootopia, and that's 3 years away at least at Animal Kingdom. They have way too much. They've waited way too long to make these inroads to their guests, where we've been calling. They used to build a new park every 10 years. Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, then Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom opened in 98. That's almost 30 years ago since we've gotten a new fully fleshed out theme park at Disney World. Meanwhile, Universal's like, we don't care what it costs. We can do this right. We spend the money. The people will come and we'll get paid back over time.
I think Jeff is correct. Years ago, remember when Grand California was done, there was no Epic. Now they've got. I've heard from friends that are Imagineers that the conversations at Disney are changing, where they have like 5 things. This is the most expensive. This is the least, and now they're going to the most expensive because of Epic. So I have to hope that you're wrong and that we're going to start seeing amazing things because Epic has upped the game. But I agree with you. Disney.
I think the Imagineers are 100% right. I think the executives that spend the money are not that way. And I think 100%. Iger's less than 2 years from moving on. They don't have a replacement for him yet. I don't have enough faith in the board right now, in the Disney board, and the every time there's always a fight at Disney. You always hear about what's happening at an executive level. That doesn't fill me. There is no Michael Eisner anymore. He's the one that spent all the money on the parks, and we haven't had that for a long, long, long time.
Epic hasn't opened yet. I think it's going to awake Disney. I think it's going to wake them up.
But Jeff, it takes Disney twice as long to build things. So they're going to have, that's what I'm saying, is they're going to have this market share where people are going up the road. Disney's going to start losing money, and they're not going to have it to spend. They're going to
have to spend it. They're going to have to invest no matter what.
I love the Jeff Panda argument.
I want to come back to this conversation in like 2 to 3 years and just revisit and see
who was right.
See who's right.
We'll put this into the archives. Jeff, I'm going to agree with you to a certain degree, and I'm going to ask you a follow-up question that'll kind of lead into my thought process here, which is, I agree. The executive thought is what is going to make us money. And to your point, we've not built many rides. We've not built new theme parks. But guess what we've built 1 million of in that time frame?
Hotels.
Hotels. And that's why we have a job and we talk about hotels and Disney Vacation Club all the time. And I think that has been the direction of Disney, is that they see so much more financial value to the bottom line that's coming out of the resorts. I would love to see the financial statements to see what they're making off the theme parks versus what they're making in the hotels. Because I think that's where the money is right now. I think they are making a tremendous amount of money there. And I get, Panda, your point as well. How are they going to fill the hotels if they don't have things in the parks? But this is where, when you have a publicly traded company that is constantly looking to increase profits, they don't look at that. They don't look at that paper. Let's use the example of Southwest Airlines that just happened. It was, as of recording this show, it was yesterday when Southwest announced that they will no longer have free bags. You will be charged for bags starting, I think, mid to late May of this coming year. That is the foundation of who they are. Like, that is their key selling point. That's their key marketing point. And I said this to Amy yesterday. They are so out of touch with their market, they don't realize that they could have increased ticket costs by $50 and people would not be as outraged as they are over bags. Because you are going to, like, all of these, I loved, I think it was Amtrak's. What did you read me last night? Amtrak's
posted,
response.
Yeah, they said, I guess we're the only ones with free bags left.
Like, you just open yourself up to that. And this is the problem you get into when you are letting your investors, you're letting those people make these creative decisions, and you're not being Walt Disney or Michael Eisner and making these decisions that are a little bit risky, but that do pay off down the road.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say is bottom line is great, but bottom line is short term. If you want to make money now, if you want those stock dividends now, lay off everybody, get your profits up, get your revenue up by charging everything like lightning lanes and charging for parking and increasing the cost of food. So your churros are now $17.50 or whatever. That's great for now. But if you don't have somebody on your board of directors that is looking down the road and saying, you know what? Yeah, this is going to cost us $100 billion or whatever the money is. but look how much more we're going to make after that. That's not forward thinking. That is placating to their own wallet. And that, I think, is where Disney's been for the last few years. Look at all that they've taken away, and we've talked about this on the show. And guys, I love Disney. I love them so much, and it's why I love them that I can call them on the carpet when I disagree with what they do.
Right.
All the things we've lost in the last 20 years, despite the prices going up, is where I struggle, and I just haven't seen anything come out of the board. I think Imagineering would give us whatever we wanted. They're the most forward-thinking people out there, but if they don't have the budget, they're not getting it. They're getting laid off. Everybody's afraid for their jobs. Paul, you were just talking about hotels, which is kind of what we focus on. Look at the difference in how Universal hotels treat their guests comparative to Disney. If you're staying at Universal's version of the Polynesian, you get front of the line access to their rides the whole duration of your stay. It's not one lightning lane this day. It's not. You get it the whole time.
Yep.
You get early entry the same amount of time as the people staying up the road at the Stop and Rob. You get it at,
Stratosphere.
Yeah, whatever, under your bed. Like Universal knows they're kind of using the model that Disney used to do, which is once they have you, they don't want to give you a reason to go somewhere else.
I will agree with you about definitely the I want to call it lightning lane express pass. I will agree about the express pass benefit. We have not heard about how that applies to Epic yet. What I will disagree with you on is Universal's hotels are a hot mess when it comes to organizationally how they work, because they're run by Lowe's hotels, and it's like the left hand doesn't talk to the right, because if you buy a package, you've got to go to the hotel desk and check in, but then you've got to go to the Universal ticket desk to get your tickets. And I don't know how they've not figured this out yet, that just to have a more seamless experience would definitely help with that. I 100% agree, Jeff. Disney should go to like that type of express pass. I don't know why I can't say that word. They should go to that express pass mindset, but they still have a little bit of a ways to go to really make you feel like you're fully like immersed in that bubble. I feel like with their hotels, and I think the only thing that they can do is potentially take ownership of their hotels eventually. We've rumored on this show before, like what if they make a vacation club product? What does that look like? So I think there's a lot of opportunities. I do not want to cut this show short by any means. So what I'm going to say is for everyone to tune back in next week, because I want to expound on this a little bit further, and I want to take it a step further and talk about where we think Disney's going to respond, and also go a little bit more further and have Panda and Jeff fight each other live on video. So I hope you are not bored by our Universal discussion, because I do think it does relate to Disney Vacation Club members and those of us that really love Disney, because at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a good thing. Disney's going to have to react, and it's going to be good for everyone. And so what that looks like, we'll talk about it more on next week's episode of the DVC Show. If you enjoy our ramblings and all of this fun stuff, I'll ask you this every week. Please hit that thumbs up button, like and subscribe to our DVC Fan YouTube. I see the analytics every single week. 50% of you watch this show and you're not even subscribed to this channel. It's absolute insanity. Why don't you want more ramblings? Why don't you want the random shorts that I put out where Derek talks about, getting his hair cut at Magic Kingdom? So subscribe to the channel. We love you, and we will see you next Monday.